Hello, everyone. A little off schedule, unlock your way with STK on a Monday at 4:30 because of a very special guest I have from way across the other side of the world, the global leader in trust-based selling, Ari Galper. Welcome to Unlock Your Way with STK.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here. Probably caught the accent. So I am originally from the US, but I live in Australia now. I live in Sydney. I met my wife on a dating site years ago, but do everything now virtually. So far, so good.
Wonderful. Um, what has it been like living on the other side of the world in a different season for 20 years?
Well, I have a lot of US clients and I've got quite a few coaches who work with them. So I'm used to the US side, but it is quite kind of the way it used to be years ago in the US. It's kind of
Mhm,
quiet and peaceful to a certain extent, except for things
mhm.
that happen here and there. But yeah, smaller country, but definitely innovative and growing and trying to get ahead of the curve. So far, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's great.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's get into this today because what you do, you have a new book and a new app that just came out all about trust-based selling and selling through trust. And
Yes.
you're a big fan of building community like I am. And this idea that trust, really, especially in this age of AI and automated things, face to face, trusting relationship is really what, in my belief, really what grows a business to that next level. How did this get started for you?
Well, I had a story that happened to me about 2 decades ago, 20 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long, but I'll share the experience to you. I think people will relate to it. I used to be a sales manager in a software company, and we launched the first website online tracking data tools for website behavior, like how many people came to your
Mhm.
website, how many
Hmm.
page views. Now it's called Google Analytics. But back then it was like a new product. And I managed 18 people underneath me, salespeople at the time. And I got the phone calls from the website that were big opportunities. This one phone call came through, I picked the phone up, and the gentleman represented a huge company. They had multiple websites around the world. It was like a big deal. You recognize the name of the business,
Mhm.
and he was excited about our product. And we agreed to do a live demo and on a conference
Mm.
call that following Friday. So you can imagine if I closed this one sale, it would double the revenue in one transaction. That's how big it was. So we were super
Wow.
excited. The day finally came. I'll never forget. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm in the conference room with my CEO. At closed door behind me, big long conference table. You might remember the old days. They had those old conference kind of
Yeah.
phones, looked like Star Trek ships, called Polycon speaker
Yeah.
phones. So I hit the speakerphone, dial tone comes up. I dial the number, and my guy picks it up. He's like, "Hey, Ari, how's it going?" I said, "Great, great." And he's like, "Let us share with you who's in the line with us today." I said,
Mm.
"Great. I know someone else will be there." Next thing I hear is, "My name's Richard. I'm CEO." I was like, "Ooh, this is good." "My name's Mike. I'm head of global IT." Even better. "This is
Mm.
Julia, head of global marketing." Amazing. Everybody on this call was a decision maker. If it's
Wow.
going to happen, it's going to happen today. So I introduced myself, explain how our technology works, what we do. Then I had them log into a rudimentary kind of webinar tool back then to show them a live demo
Mhm.
on one of the websites that we added some code to help them see what it looks like to see real time live data. So we're all logging in. I'm describing how, showing this all to them, and I start hearing this noise on the phone call, like, wow, this is great. This is amazing. They start asking me all kinds of questions. How does it work? How do we install it? There was so much chemistry on this phone call, Suzanne. It was like a love fest
Mhm.
on the phone. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
They got the questions. You got the answers. You're saying to yourself, oh my God, this is like no resistance. The perfect
Mhm.
sales call. I was building relationships with them. I was being nice to them. I wasn't being aggressive, just being my normal self. And an
Mhm.
hour goes by. They're loving what they're saying. And my contact says to me, Ari, this is great. We love it. Look, give us a call a couple of weeks, follow up with us, and we'll move this thing forward. I was like, oh, thank you, God. And I got the high five back on my shoulder from
Yeah.
my boss. He's like, nice job. So I said my goodbyes. I took my hand, reached for the speakerphone, hit the off button. As I'm reaching for the speaker button, by complete accident, now it's the divine intervention. I hit the mute button instead of the off button. And a small click happened, and they thought I hung up the phone. And that split second, a voice said to me, said, Ari, go to the dark side. Be a fly in the wall. Go where no one's ever gone before in the world of selling. So I pulled my thumb back for a couple of seconds. They started talking amongst themselves, thinking I had left the call.
Mm.
Now, this is not a trick question, but what would you imagine they would have said after a call like that? What would you expect to have heard?
Great things. Can't wait to buy this product. Can't wait to do this thing. Let's talk about it.
That's what I was waiting to hear. But let me share with you what I heard verbatim, word for word, that brought us all here today. And here's what they said. They said, we're not going to go with him. Keep using him for more information. And make sure we shop someplace else cheaper.
Wow.
Knife and heart twist. I was in a state of shock.
Yeah.
I snapped out of it, hit the off button, looked at the wall, and I said to myself, what did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I was professional. I was competent. I was relationship oriented. I delivered value. I showed the solution. I showed testimonials. I did every single checklist that the sales gurus and sales managers have been teaching us for years we're supposed to do to make the sale. Yet they lied to me. I said to myself, what is going on here? This is a dysfunctional process between two parties, which is just all wrong. There's lying going on here. It's why the game. So I decided to finally break this cycle because I went to the dark side. I came back to the light side. I said, okay, something's got to change. Then I launched my whole trust-based selling approach and mindset, where our whole system and model and approach is based upon the idea of letting go of focusing on the goal of the sale and instead focusing on trust building only with the other person, not relationship building.
Yeah.
But trust building, the two separate concepts we'll talk about today. And by doing that, we built a whole body knowledge around trust-based languaging of trust, and a process called the one call sale, where one conversation with somebody, you can get to the truth, not the sale. If the truth is they're a fit, they become a client. That became our whole kind of movement, what I call the trust movement over the last couple decades.
Well, I love what you said about that there's a difference between relationship selling and trust-based selling, because I notice with most of the entrepreneurs I work with, there's a disconnect between the building relationships and then all of a sudden you find yourself with a huge circle of friends, but nobody's buying from you. Nobody's referring business to you. So they might like you. They might even trust you a little bit, but they're not sure of your competency level in what you're selling, or maybe even, and I've had this happen to me, not even sure of what I'm selling after many conversations. So I love that distinction. Could you unpack that a little bit?
Sure. The irony of all this is they don't even have to like you to trust you. It's like going to see a doctor, right? Doctor doesn't sort of have lunch with you first and hang out for coffee first and get to know you first. But you trust them because they zero in on your problem at hello. So here's the difference to clarify for your audience. Real relationships with real people take a lot of time. And it starts with the social structure, social norms. Let's become friends. Let's become peers. Let's get to know each other. Once we get to know each other, well, then maybe we'll work together. That's like a long time.
Yeah.
So what I figured out is if you remove the relationship piece, only focus on the trust piece, then you can press your sales cycle down to a short amount of time and get to a yes or no quickly. See, we've been taught for years to, quote, build relationships pre-sale. Have a cup of coffee. Yeah, let's meet up. It becomes very social. And it's very hard to go to become the doctor to diagnose their problem because they see you as a peer. The difference here is you have to become an authority with your potential lead at hello. You're the doctor, they're the patient. You have to know in your mind what's the process to take them down using trust-based languaging to get to their truth, because the value of the conversation is not the value of your solution, it's the clarity on their problem.
Wow. I just want to say that it makes so much sense from everything I've experienced in 40 years of being an entrepreneur, having different businesses. I think what is most intriguing is this idea of being the authority from hello. It's all in how you frame those conversations. I think I talked with someone earlier today about how she was framing her get to know you discovery calls. And I said, well, are they get to know you calls or are they booking with you, to explore hiring you? She said, I don't know. I said, you got to fix that first. You can't just hop on a call with anybody who wants to get to know you. I mean, this isn't social hour. We're here to do business, right? What recommendations do you give for somebody in that situation where they're out there networking? They want to get to know people, want to get to know what they offer, but at the same time, we all need to grow our businesses and have paying clients. And how do we separate that get to know you nonsense with actual authority building conversations?
Well, they have to first shift their mindset
Mm,
away from being solution centric. They have to shift to being problem centric. Their goal is not to get to know somebody. Their goal is to get to know the other person's problem. That's the
yes.
separation, you see? When you're problem centric, you're like a heat seeking missile looking for a
Mhm.
problem, looking for a
Yeah.
problem. You're
Yeah.
not attempting to create chemistry and engagement and relationships. This is not dating. Okay, we are in a day, we are in what I call the trust recession right now. Okay,
Mhm.
no one trusts anyone. And the more social you are with somebody at hello,
Mhm.
the more they think it's fake because they have
Yeah.
no context of who you are. So here you are
Yeah.
being nice. Oh, I love your shoes. Where are you from? They're like, okay, what's she up to?
Mhm.
So we are in a day and age now where at hello, you lose a sale. Okay, at hello, unless your framing and your mindset is focused on a way to elegantly, with bedside manner and empathy, get to their core problem where they feel you're the authority and they need your help.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. Um, I don't know if you know this about me, but I was a dental hygienist before I became a coach,
Uh-huh.
and I had instant authority because of my position, because of somebody scheduling an appointment with me, and in the 1 minute from waiting room to my operatory, they trusted me to lay back in a chair and invite me into their body with sharp instruments. And I remember explaining that to someone and how quick that trust happened because of environment, because of the frame, and because of my position. That's who I was. So that came with a certain amount of trust. Do you think that's comparable to standing in your value as a coach, as a consultant, as a service provider? I think it's so, so similar to show up in that prescription diagnosis space rather than the friendly, you know, space.
Yes, and you need a structure around that, and that's what I
Mm,
developed my model called the one call sale process, and I'll give you some insights right now of how it works in real time in real life, so your audience
mm,
can start to use some of this. So let's say, for example, you get a lead, an opportunity, a LinkedIn opportunity, and there's sort of a fit, and they agree to a Zoom call. Okay, this happens all day long with professionals, with
yes, yes.
entrepreneurs. So usually when the Zoom call shows up and you show up with someone, it's like we feel this obligation to create this instant chemistry. Oh,
Mm,
how are you? Nice to meet you. How are you? Where are you from? We do all this rapport building because
mhm.
we think that's what our job is to do, right? And then it kind of goes sideways and sideways, and finally you get to something at some point which might be meaty, but then it's too late because you already embedded the social structure.
Yep.
You've lost your authority. So let me show you how what we teach all of our many clients. Okay, they show up on Zoom. First thing you say is this: nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. It's the first thing you say. Here's what you say next. If it's okay with you, Suzanne, if you wouldn't mind, take a step back for a moment. Maybe walk me through your background, your situation, and up to your current concerns you have with your business, and we'll go from there. Would that be okay with you? Take your fingers like this over your mouth like a doctor. Sit back in your chair like a therapist, like that.
I love it.
This trains you not to do what?
Talk.
It's going to be so hard at first
I
because
know.
we are so wired to create chemistry, engagement, move them
Yes.
forward, get them to like us. They don't need to like you. They don't want to like. They already have their own friends. Nothing personal. I'm sure we're all wonderful people, but they're not there to meet a friend. They're there to solve a problem. If you start the wrong direction, you've lost it at hello. So you sit back and you notice the question. I said, if it's okay with you, ask permission. If you wouldn't mind, maybe take a step back for a moment, walk them through your background, your situation, and up to your current concerns you have with your team, we'll go from there. Would that be okay with you, John? See, this tells them right away, the call isn't about you. You're the doctor. If the call only about them, and what happens is they get permission now to download on you and tell you their whole story at hello.
I love
No
it.
chit chat.
It's
like a
it.
doctor saying, where does it hurt?
Such simplicity, but yet really showing up as that person who's there to solve other people's problems, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the mindset is, I'm not here to make the sale.
Yeah.
I'm here to see if your problem is serious enough to even address in the first place, because maybe it's not. Maybe you need some aspirin and you're out of here. You don't need to go to pharmacists, right?
Maybe you just need to floss every day and your problem's solved.
Many times entrepreneurs become the pharmacist and the doctor all in one on the first call. And they destroy everything, and they got to start chasing someone because they hear at the end of the call, I want to think about it. I'm not ready yet. Call me next Wednesday. You end up chasing people, and your pipeline's big, but your conversion's low.
And what about where does that leave the whole nonsense with overcoming objections? Because I don't do that.
There are no objections if you start the process from hello the right way. The reason why objections come between the conversations is because you've allowed openings for them not to trust you.
Yeah.
Their responsibility is on you, the person on the side, not them. Objections disappear when you start the process like the doctor from the beginning, because they can trust you, because they see you're only focused on them. You're not talking about you. They go, oh my God, she's not even talking about trying to sell me anything. She's just actually spending time with me on my problem. I think she's okay. No objections. Zero. I know it's hard to believe. A lot of the ideas are very hard.
I totally believe it because I've seen it happen over and over. But how many times did you screw this up to really understand this model for yourself?
Look, this is after 20 years as an art form now, and it can be learned quickly, okay? Like in 4 sessions. But it's the real challenge is the mindset of the other person. They let go of all their voices and the conditioning saying they got to like you, you got to engage, you got to add value. What I tell my clients is stop adding and giving value. Value in itself has been commoditized. They don't need to hear about you. They don't care about you, nothing personal. What they care about is your ability to go do a deep dive, what I call down the iceberg, inside their world, unpack their problem, and show them the severity of it, the seriousness of it, and ask this final question: is this a priority for you to address and resolve once and for all, or is something you prefer not to deal with at the moment? I'm okay either way. What that says is, it's not my problem, it's yours. I'm the adult, you're the child. Do you want to solve your own problem or not? I'm not going to take it onto my shoulders because you have it. I'm not going to own it. You got to own it. And you tell me if you want to address it or not. If you do, then I'll walk you through a roadmap for how to fix it. See, I'm the doctor now saying, hey, look, your shoulder injury is pretty serious, but you got to do some exercises. If you're not going to exercise, you're not going to get better. It's the same conversation, but you do it nicely and sweetly and softly, like with bedside manner.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can see where the prescription that you're offering is much more trusted because of that framing, but also the gift of the space of someone else talking about their problems and what they need solved. I think you would actually end up with more committed clients, wouldn't you? I mean, it is people who actually want to do the work and want to solve their problems and want to work with somebody on that rather than dragging somebody along with you or chasing somebody to follow up with them.
The worst thing to do is ever follow up or chase somebody, ever. And if
Yeah,
you have to follow up with someone, let me give you a tip right now, okay? If you have to call someone to follow up with them, then never use the word follow up. That's the
please.
worst word to ever use. Like erase
Please.
it forever. It's like
Yeah.
sales 101. Here's what you say instead. I'm giving you a call to see if you have any feedback on our previous conversation, any feedback on the proposal, any feedback on the meeting we had. You go backwards away from the sale, not forwards trying to chase it.
Yes.
If you're in chase mode and follow-up mode, you're breaking trust just by being there in the first place.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be pursued.
Why do you think, it's gotten so much worse since social media? Because of access to people, do you think?
Well, I think people in general are so fragmented and skeptical right now. They can't even think past tomorrow. They're so in the moment with the phones and texts and social media.
Mhm.
We need to have some cut through. We got to stop them in their tracks. And we're now living in a commoditized world where almost every business is commoditized. An insurance guy and a coach is a coach. You just can't say, hey, I'm different. So what I realized, the only way to cut through the noise in this day and age now is to have a unique approach itself. Not your solution's unique, but the way you handle them is unique. It's
Yeah.
a trust-based approach. If you can build trust with people in this way, you've now become what I call a category of one. They go, oh my God, she's so different. He's so different. They don't really care about how you solve their problem. All they care about is, can I trust you to be the one to solve it? That's the strange thing people understand. They think, oh, I'm looking for a coach. Oh, great. Let me tell you what I do. You really think they care about what you do? They
No.
know what you do. They saw your website. It's not a mystery. You're a coach. They get it. They don't, but see, that triggers us to start to do, start flexing. Oh,
Yeah.
well, let me tell you what I see.
Mhm.
You have to be careful to be seduced into that because you'll be seduced and go, oh, they want to hear about me. It's not
Yeah.
about you. You got to let that go and be and be calm, centered, understand your positioning. Don't make any assumptions just because they said they want this medicine. They might not even need it. You have to question their need for their own need, and that blows their mind. So let's
Oh,
just say that
110%. And I want to unpack that a little bit because I think ethics and morals and all of the trustworthy things come into play here. Recently, someone wanted to hire me. Full rate, one-on-one, referred to me, seemed like a golden opportunity until we got into the actual conversation and he wasn't making any money. He had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to have a business in the last 3 years and was desperate. I need a client this week. Can you help me? And I said, no. No, I can't. The best advice I could give you is to get a job and build your business on the side over the next 2 or 3 years. Well, the look on this poor woman's face was just What? That's what no one else was willing to say that to her. And it took a little bit, but after she thought about it, she sent me a very nice email and said, "Thank you for telling me what no one else was willing to tell me. It's time for me to have an income and then build my business the way it should be built, on trust and quality rather than panic and desperation." But 3 people before me were not willing to say that because they saw a hot
because
prospect in
they
front of
weren't focused on the truth and you were.
Yes. Yes. And do you see that as a common struggle for people to get past when they're looking to, embrace some of the things that you teach? Do you find that that's a big obstacle for them?
Yeah, because where they struggle is they've been so conditioned
Mm,
to focus on selling themselves,
yeah.
doing free consulting, adding value,
Yeah.
sending PDFs, sending proposals. They're
Mhm.
so regimented with a practice which is now extinct. They don't
Yeah.
know how to transition to a trust-based space. Now, when I say trust, people go, "Oh, Ari, I build relationships with people. I can build trust." I'm like, no, relationship building is not what I'm talking about here. It's a new skill set. I did a talk recently at UCLA, their CEO forum, and I told all the CEOs, I said, the first thing you have to do is tell your sales team to stop selling. They go, what? They have to learn a replacement skill called trust building,
Mm.
because trust building will grow your business, not selling. You'll be burning through leads, chasing leads, need more marketing. You're burning your opportunities. I recently had a call kind of like yours. I had an inbound opportunity, head of sales with a big sales team. And he's like, "Ah, we love your material. We love your philosophy. Can you come in and give us an inspirational talk?"
Mhm.
I'm like, "What's the problem you want to solve?" "Oh, and look, we're having a great year. Why not just come in and teach us some of your great stuff?" And I said, "But what's the problem you want to solve?" "Oh, no, we just want you to come in and we're doing great. Just give us." I said, "What?" Because I'm the doctor here. I'm not inspired by getting my ego. I want to know what the problem is. And he goes, and I said, "Let me ask you a question. How many opportunities a month are coming to your business?" He goes, "We had about 100 leads a month." "How many
Okay.
of those leads have been converted to a new client?" He said, 25. I said, "What happened to the other 75?
Mhm.
Why don't we work on that? We can double your business by just fixing the 25 to 50 with just
Yeah.
a short amount of time." He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you can fix that? That's your problem. You can't even see yourself." I said, "You're
Wow.
right." And that's what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to be seduced by saying, "Oh, they love me." I only want to work with somebody who's open to the truth of their own situation. It's like my dad
Mm.
was a therapist. The best patients he worked with were
Mhm.
the ones who admitted their truth and asked for help. So if you're not in that state of mind, you're not going to be able to get over the edge on this thing.
Yeah. Well, there's such a raw honesty there, right? And your position in that moment, you put your ego aside and didn't allow, "Oh, Ari, you're great and we love your stuff and we love your material. Just come and motivate us." Now, most would be flattered and most would be like, "Ooh, okay, a paid speaking opportunity, great." But what you did in that moment by getting to the problem, now you're coming in to give a talk that has meaning and so much more value, even if the talk was exactly the same, so much more value because they know why you're there. Huge.
Raw
Huge.
honesty equals respect, and
Yes.
respect equals
Yes.
trust. That's the formula. If you
Yes.
can't be bold with someone, you can't be
Mm.
a doctor with them, you can't help them see the
Yeah.
truth behind their actual problem. If you can help them get what I call the COI, cost of an action, what's it
Mhm.
cost them not to solve their problem? then you're going to be stuck chasing ghosts forever.
Wow. All right. Number one recommendation for a solopreneur who has all these relationships, all these potential referral partners, connections. What's the number one thing they need to start doing right now?
Make a list of the top 3 core problems that you help your ideal client solve.
Mm,
Got to write those down.
yes.
Then marketing wise, so there's 2 parts to the process to grow a business. One is lead generation. One is conversion. Okay. We talked about today mostly was a bit of a conversion process once you get someone to an actual call. And there's more behind that. Obviously, there's a system behind that. But then there's the marketing side, what you're talking about, which is like floating around the ecosystem, hoping the apples will fall off the tree kind of model, which a lot of businesses do. They shake hands,
Yeah, they do.
bagels, networking meeting, and they go to, do all those things. And they hope somehow business will just kind of appear.
Yeah. Let me pass out my business card and hope somebody calls me.
Yeah. Don't be doing that. So here's how you change that. And here's the shift. You start to market the problems that you solve. You do not market yourself. So let's just say you're a financial advisor and you go to a networking meeting, you meet somebody. They say, what do you do? Normally you'd say, oh, I'm a financial advisor and I help people retire. They're like, oh, eyes roll, right? Oh, another advisor. No, here's what you say instead. I'm a financial doctor. And you smile. Like, what? I help business owners solve 3 problems. Make sure when they exit without overpaying on taxes. Number 2, make sure that their staff's, you list the problems out that you solve. You don't talk about what you do. It's not about you and your solution. It's the problems. The more clarity you have on the problems that you solve, that attracts people to you and go, oh, I'm interested in that. How do you do that? Now you're engaged around the problem. So the big idea here is market the problems that you solve, not your solutions. Solutions have been commoditized. They're just noise. Everyone else sells what you do. Sorry, that's just the real world. I can type in what you do right now on Google and find a lot of people on LinkedIn who do what you do. And me too. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm unique. I'm just trying to say that's the reality where we live in. So unless you differentiate your approach to market, you're not going to make it.
Agreed. What do you think is the struggle in that? So when I talk about the problems I solve versus some other business coach, I think the problems I solve are pretty darn important. And so does that other business coach. But we get kind of lumped in when you call yourself a business coach. It's about scaling, it's about growth, it's about more leads or
the first thing I do is I would not use the word coach ever again.
Yes.
I'd use the word business growth advisor.
Perfect.
That says growth and people want growth. Coach is just like a generic term which has nothing in it that's exciting. So I would reframe your positioning title in a way that tells the market what you do in 3 words. I'm a business growth advisor. They kind of get that. She helps businesses grow. A coach is like, I got to think about it's a couple more leaps to get there. So a lot of it is positioning, the languaging around you. It's also a lot about making sure that you're crystal clear on the words that you use that address the issues that they know they have, but aren't conscious of. You got to go behind their thinking. This is why we have this language track that goes what I call down the iceberg on that first meeting to unpack and peel the onion back behind their problem. Because at first, the potential leads don't even know what their problem is. They might say, I'm looking for a coach, but they can't even explain, like, what I'm talking about? Like,
yes,
they say the problem's X, turns out it's Y. It's like, what? Because they don't trust you enough to open up to be vulnerable with you at hello to say, the truth is my wife is upset with me. I'm overweight. My business is on top of me. They're not going to just open up to
No,
you if you try to
no,
become their friend.
no. And I can honestly say that the problem behind the problem is typically the problem. And I can't tell you how many times the business model is the problem. They've chosen the wrong pricing model or
Yep.
business model or delivery model based on the size of their audience. And,
Yes.
that conversation is a tough conversation
Yes.
when, somebody is expecting to have a really incredible income from selling a $297 course, but they only have 100 people on their email list. And I have to have that conversation. That's a hard, like, slap in the face conversation of radical honesty. And I'm not afraid to have it anymore because it's happened so many times where people have chosen a business model that doesn't support their income goals. Or, if you have a small audience, we have to build the audience before you can sell something low ticket. Like, just the common sense of numbers to me is very, very difficult conversation. And my homework, and I'm curious whether you find this a lot, is I had to work on my confidence, my clarity, my conviction in what I believe and what I do. And maybe some people don't agree with it, and I'm okay with that. But when I give that prescription, the diagnosis, and then the prescription, there's ultimate confidence, just like when I was a dental hygienist and doing it for my patients, 18 years ago. I think that's the biggest hurdle for entrepreneurs is that internal embodiment of who they are and what they do and the confidence in their solution. And
Well,
I
let me
I think
challenge you.
that's
Let me
the
challenge you
hurdle.
on. Let me challenge
Yeah.
you on that because
Okay.
you use the word confidence,
Yeah.
and the switch here is you don't have to be confident about your solution. You have to be confident about the problems that you solve. It's a shift because everyone believes what they do is great, and you don't. I don't want you to be hear people selling it with more confidence. I want them being more confident in knowing more than their prospect knows about
Mm.
themselves. That's where you get bold and confident when you can say, look, your actual problem is this. Let me tell you
Yeah.
why. Because I'll take your example. Because you're in a high volume, low margin business, which is not, you probably want a low volume, high margin business. Is that right, John? He goes, yeah, that's what I want. That's what you're not seeing. See, I'm taking your lead you told me and changing his thinking, going, you're just seeing it the wrong way. It's not
Mhm.
my solution is just helping them see things in a different way. That's the confidence you have to have, understanding your market well enough that you know them better than they know themselves.
Beautifully said. Um, do you think that with information the way it is today, um, AI, um, YouTube, all the information in the world's available out there, right there, right? People need to change their thinking, and that's our job to shift someone else's thinking about
Totally.
their
Because think about it. If there's no behavior change,
problem. Mhm.
nothing happens. You don't get paid. They don't get a
Correct.
result. So there's two steps that have to happen first. One is you have to shift their mindset, shift their thinking from how they see things right now
Mhm.
to the truth of their actual problem. That's your first step. Then you got to ask them, are you committed to wanting to fix this or not?
Mhm.
They go, you're right. I got to get onto this. Then they're committed to behavior change. You cannot expect them to pay you for your services and make a change unless you change their mindset first and they see that you understand them better than they understand themselves.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
therapists do. They get right
Kind
to
of.
the heart of you, like, oh, you got me. You own me. You know me. I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm vulnerable.
Yeah. And do you think those that are better at this or more apt to this way of being that we're talking about have actually been through the journey themselves. You know, I think when I see people who are really good at what they do, it's because their ideal client has problems that were their problem and they figured out how to solve it, or they learned how to solve it, or they worked with somebody else to solve it. Um, and being just, 5 minutes, 20 minutes ahead of your ideal client really helps me as an entrepreneur. I know my entrepreneur clients so well. And I think that's what you're saying. Like, be in love with your clients' problems because you once had them too.
Fall out of love with your solution
Yes.
and fall in love with their problems.
Yes, it's not about your offer or your
They
PDF.
don't care about what you
Nobody.
do. It's not a mystery. You're
Yes.
not like, they get it. They saw
Yeah.
you in LinkedIn. They saw your website. You're an X. Whoopee. You're a commodity. You're not going to win saying, oh, I'm different. Are you
Mhm.
kidding me?
No.
No. You got to be different in your approach with trust building with them this way. It's the only way that's
Yeah.
left.
Yeah. Well, I'm laughing because I have learned when I first came into the online space, every person that I either tried to learn from or work with, it was, the high ticket, high pressure sales and overcoming objections. And oh my gosh, I tried to force myself into what I thought was required. And it was just horrendous for me. And I had a conversation with someone, and it was all about the free thing I was giving away online, the freebie, the opt-in, and they hated what I was giving away. And they just said, "Why don't you give away something else?" And I said, "Gosh, I should just give away everything because it's not about the freebie." And all of a sudden I sat back and I was just like, "It's not. It's not about your opt-in or the thing you give away in exchange for somebody's email address. Nobody wants that. And if somebody takes it from you, it's just going to sit in a folder on their computer. It's not going to lead to business very, very rarely, unless you don't skip this step that we're talking about today."
Well said.
I just appreciate what I know we've never met before this conversation, which everybody's gonna be really surprised. Um, but your approach, your your book, and you have a new book coming out. Tell us a little bit about the new book and the app.
Sure. So my latest book is called Trust in a Split Second.
Mm,
And it talks all about this and how to get your head around this concept. You can get a free copy at thetrustbook.com, just like it sounds. It's not that complicated. Thetrustbook.com. You can order a copy for free. It's going to be sent to you in the mail. No digital delivery. Sorry. Stamp,
mail!
envelope,
Ooh, mail.
physical in your hand. We'll
Love
mail
it.
it to you. We'll cover postage. You can schedule a time with us if you'd like to chat with us as well about your situation. But getting that book is probably your first start to really shift your thinking. But
Mm,
also, we just launched our new community and learning hub called Selling with Trust. And it's in the Apple Store and the Google Store. You can get it directly from your phone. Just search Selling with Trust in the App Store. Download
okay.
it, join. Inside there is a global membership we're building of trust-based business owners around the world. We're going to have different chapters in different cities around the world, chapter leaders we call trust-based leaders, who will be teaching and helping other businesses with this concept. Inside the community will be there's a lot of posts in there about latest techniques and ideas, success stories,
Mm,
community of people doing business together. It's the only network community in the world of trust-based business owners. It's growing every day and it's free to join. So again, you
I'm
can
so
just go to the
excited.
App Store or go to arigalper.com/app if you want.
I'm so excited, Ari. If you're looking for somebody in the Philadelphia area to put an event together for your world tour,
Yes,
you just let me know.
please join up and let us know for sure.
Yeah, I love this so much. It's so in alignment with who I am and what I do. And anybody who knows me will say that this so resonates with my brand, my community, the people I've brought together who are all helping each other grow and supporting each other, whether it's a coaching group I run or just the community that I run on Facebook or, my private community. And so I really, whatever I can do to support your message, you just let me know. I'm going to share all the links from your book and the app here in the comments. And I'm going to put your book on the list for my book club in my community because I think this is a must do for anyone who has their own business. So thank you so much for today and appreciate what you do in the world.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Everyone, follow Ari on LinkedIn. I'm going to share all his links below. And please download the app from the App Store. You're going to see me there. I'm going to do it right now after this call. Super excited. And thank you again. Look forward to more conversations, Ari.
Likewise.
Have a great day, everyone.
You too.